right, we're back here. Who knew we'd come back? I thought we would have left by now.
Who knew?
Yeah, this is, I'm Tim Mcloone, and we're here on the Tim Mcloone Radio Show with my co-host. And
One, the only.
yes, Amy Bros. There she
Thank
is.
you.
And we're joined by a really interesting guest. We had him on once before, and I really couldn't wait to have him back here. And there's a little surprise at the end of this segment. So if you don't like what we're talking about now, hang in there anyway, because there's a really cool thing at the back end of it. But our next guest, his name is John Roos, and he's the Assistant Athletic Director for Sales and Development at nearby to us, anyway, Monmouth University.
Yeah, just right up the road.
Yeah, you formerly known as Monmouth College. And by the way, what a cool place to go. If you think about it, for those of us who lived around here, it's whatever you would think of the hometown college. I don't want to go there. I want to go away, right? If somebody from Indiana, let's say, like yourself, John, would come here and see this place, and plus the fact up in Pier Village here in Long Branch, there's like a part of your campus is on the ocean, oceanfront apartments. This is such a tragedy for these poor students.
Very tough.
Yeah, it's really difficult to recruit top-of-the-line student athletes with those type of
Yeah, I'm guessing that's
views.
the first stop is Pier Village. And
yeah. Then it goes to the academic buildings. And stuff,
maybe not.
Yeah,
oh,
right.
we forgot that part of the visit.
Don't worry, we'll get to that later.
But anyway, for your background, that you did in fact grow up in Indiana, and you were a basketball player, and you were pretty darn good apparently, captaining your college team, and then you went to work in Division II athletics at Lynn University in Boca Raton, and you got involved in the marketing side. What made you make that transition there before we go to the rest of your fabulous bio that you obviously wrote yourself?
Yeah, right.
But
there's a lot of typos.
But what made you go from, really the sports side, in a sense, to the marketing and sponsorship side so early? Really?
Yeah, well, ever since I was a young buck, my parents always said I was full of energy, and I really did, as a player,
That's usually code for you were really difficult to bring up, by the way. Yeah, he's full of energy.
Yeah. The scars on my head show how much energy I was full of. But no, I was the type of player that really took that energy from the crowd, and I absorbed it, and I used it on the court, and I really did kind of feed off the crowd and the way it was going. So after college, I started to think about, well, how can I be on the other side, the business side, and be on the side to create that excitement for athletes and to make that experience for the athlete that much better. And so that kind of started the conversation. That started kind of guiding me to this area, and then from then on, it just kept on developing, and here I am now at a Division I beautiful campus here in New Jersey, and I'm just really, really blessed to be here. Well,
we agree, because I think you're doing a great job, but you have to hear these other interesting facts about you. Clearly, you're the second best athlete in your family. His wife, Andrea, holds the all-time NCAA scoring record for women's lacrosse and also scored 2,000 points in basketball.
Wow.
Really? You married up athletically?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was part of the bio on the web when I said it must have these credentials, and those were the two top credentials, must score 2,000. But no, it was...
But you didn't mention that it was your wife who did it. You said, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was very humbling. The first few dates we had, I was on the dating scene, pretty aggressive, had a lot of...
you had a lot of energy?
Yeah.
Would you say?
And so this was the first girl that I met that actually beat me in every single thing we did. If it was putt-putt, if it was whatever it was, she beat me. And I went to bed very bothered. You know that moment when you're in bed, you're like, I don't know why I can't sleep tonight, but I just can't, and you're twitching, and so I said, maybe this is the one, because
wow,
so
twitching.
It was great.
It's not a good description, but it's funny about putt-putt golf, though. How does something that is so fascinating and so great when you're 9 years old be so unbearable when you're 50? It's just like, how many holes are we playing? Oh, they have a double course, 36 holes. Great.
I was just saying I'd really like to play putt-putt golf.
Oh, I'm sorry, Amy. All right.
I mean, could we create a course on this beautiful supper club at some point and maybe open something up there?
Okay.
Rooftop golf.
Rooftop golf. So listen, another great thing, though, is about your mom, who obviously had a lot of energy. Where do you hear this, Amy? She was in the 1970s Hilltop Coke commercial,
And furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves.
It's the real thing. There you go. Well, don't mention the product because they're not a sponsor. Okay? I'm just saying. If they sponsor us, we'll do the whole song next time you're on, okay?
At Monmouth University they are, so.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay.
It's the real thing.
There you go.
Coke is
what the world wants to do.
Coca-Cola. All right.
Beautiful.
Jeez.
Thank you.
So, But then it says that you actually, in the 1989 Super Bowl, they brought them back, and I do remember them doing the reunion of it. But you were in it.
Yes.
They brought their children.
Yes, and it's funny because obviously they filmed it in Rome, just like they did for the Hilltop commercial.
Really?
Yes, and what you don't...
You're saying that like everybody knows that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They did that commercial in Rome?
Yeah, it was in Rome. It was, they pulled...
Have they heard of Colorado? I mean, they have
They
big
had
hilltops there.
They had, yeah. I guess they thought Rome or somewhere it was more beautiful than
Wow.
Colorado. I don't
How
know
about that?
But no, they selected. I guess my mom was living in Rome, doing some modeling and stuff, and they wanted to get a American representative to be the USA Coke lady. So they pulled her. They thought they heard she could sing, and so they grabbed all these people from different countries, and they said, all right, we're going to take you to a hilltop. You're going to sing this song, and you're going to hold a Coke and smile. So she did that, and she did it well.
Yeah.
And so 20 years later, they wanted to grab every single person from that commercial, obviously
Sure.
a reunion commercial, and they said, okay, bring your kids. And they want the kids to kind of run up the hill, grab the Coke and take it and say, okay, this is the new generation.
Oh, wow.
We're taking it from here. And so what they didn't think about was that I was a 7-year-old kid, and the scars on my head and the lack
The
of focus.
energy.
I'm
Can't be
running
good.
around this hill looking for lizards and turtles and things like that, and I'm not focused on the task at hand. So what they did is they put me in the middle of this crowd of kids, so I couldn't move anywhere or run off. So I am in the commercial, but you don't see me because I'm just blended in with all the other kids.
Keeping you quiet. Yeah. Oh my!
It worked.
You know, I wanted to ask you something because you're obviously deeply involved at Monmouth University with collegiate athletics, and I think a lot of people in our listening audience at least have heard about the lawsuit brought by the Northwestern football team, basically saying we want to get paid. We're employees here at this university. What's your take on that?
Well, you know, it's funny. I've got two takes. I've got the business side, which I'm on now, and then I have the athlete side. So as an athlete, I remember being able to handle the multitasking of taking on a 40-hour job, which is your sport, and then also, you know, whatever hours it was to remain above at 3.0 GPA, but also, you know, becoming active in different clubs and organizations. And I would ask my coach, hey, I'd like to actually work so I can have some money to play around with for pizza and things like that outside of basketball. And they wouldn't allow it. And this was, you know, 15, 20 years ago. So now I see it as, okay, if a kid wants an opportunity to make some extra money, I believe they should. They should be able to enjoy their college experience as much as they can and have that ability. But the business side of me, from a Division I institution, and I'm not trying to, because there's a big parity between the Ohio States Division I sports, and then you have your Monmouth, which is a mid-major school, and they have the ability to absolve the cost of attendance and to pay their players, to pay these kids. And that's maybe the direction that everything is going. You know, the big schools want to pay their kids because they have the resources. Now, a school like us, we use every dollar the best we can for the experience, but it's harder for us to pay our 500 student athletes what Ohio State can be.
Of course.
Pay. So when
You're not getting 105,000 people at your football game.
Right.
You know?
Right, exactly. We're getting just a touch less.
Neither are they, by the way. That was the Michigan number that I was quoting.
Yeah, the big house. You know what? Everyone's building more.
Yeah.
But Northwestern, I think they're pretty smart over there. Is that correct?
Yeah, allegedly.
Okay. So they thought about it. Well, listen.
The Harvard of the Midwest, I believe,
Yeah.
is what they call themselves.
Yeah. So let's capitalize off of our brains and our powers and our abilities and our alums, and let's start putting together something. And so they did, and they won. And I don't know if it's going to be a domino effect. I know that other schools are obviously talking about it. But I do know that there is going to be a solution. I think that they're working towards a cost of attendance where, you know, maybe every student athlete gets $2,000, and that's part of their pay to help subsidize some of those other costs.
Well, I remember speaking to the athletic director at the University of Pennsylvania. This is probably 25 years ago. Every story I tell, by the way, sounds like that, and then it was actually 45 years ago. But but I remember speaking to him, and he was saying that, and now they're an Ivy League school, that if they gave someone a complete free ride, which is based on need in the Ivy, that it still cost them about $3,000 to $5,000 a year to go to that school, even if they paid for they just couldn't do it with all the other needs. Personally, I think that if they open that door, that you're actually getting paid to play, it's going to make this incredible chasm, as you're describing, between the haves and the have-nots. What are the first thing they're going to do is drop sports.
Right.
They're going to say, we can't pay for this. I mean, I ran cross country, indoor track, and outdoor track. I was a full-time really 12 months a year because you had to train all year round. And I had a job while I was in college, and I was trying to, get good grades at the same time. So I understand in the summertime I had a full-time job. I commuted to New York. We'll talk about that some other time. I didn't do well. But, I understand the stress of it, and I was very fortunate that, I had basically a full ride where I went. But it still costs a lot of money to do it. And then what happens is we have many more indigent people going to college these days because of the demands, truthfully, of basketball, looking for inner city kids who are great players who have maybe almost no financial support in their lives. So what's going to happen? And then you see all these petty crimes and stuff where they're just trying to have money, as you said, for pizza on Friday night, and they steal a stereo or something like that. And it just creates this underclass of people who are trying to survive at these universities where there's a lot of wealthier people.
Right.
And it's just very difficult for them. I don't know. It's a tough one.
Right. And from our position, we treat our student athletes and our students at Monmouth University like we see them as our own kids. So we want to give them the most we can. And we're not against trying to make their experience better by giving them more resources. We want them to have better resources and better funding and for their programs. And when they travel, they get better things, and they don't have to use the same shoes for the entire season.
Yeah.
We want to be able to give them everything they need and make their experience the best. But it is a reality that our resources are not there. Now, the product that we have, if you guys would please come check us out, you'll see we have the top tier athletes, and we do put a great product out there with the resources we have. And speaking of that, we are constantly evolving and building. And I know I'm doing a segue, and I hope you're ready for this.
Go ahead.
We're building Monmouth Stadium. That's our next huge project for our football team. We just entered into the Big South, which is a big Division I football program. They have some great programs in Liberty and Coastal Carolina and some other schools there. So we want to compete with them and show them that we are here and we're here to stay, and that we want to make a bigger impression on New Jersey. So Monmouth Stadium is right around the corner.
As much as I appreciate your football team and all that, people should come see your soccer teams, because that's a great stadium you built. Now you've got the full, the artificial turf in there. It's a great experience to go watch the soccer games. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, it's in a very unique campus, Wilson Hall. If you guys watch Annie, Little Orphan Annie, obviously that's where they filmed that movie, the Warbucks Mansion. I still call it that. They want me to call it Wilson Hall, but I won't, because Daddy Warbucks was the man. But they just, Marianne Hess, she made a great donation to the university to put turf in a field, and it's under the lights. And if you check the papers, our men's soccer team is always ranked in the top 10 of all Division I colleges and universities. And so we are always in the hunt to make it to the NCAA tournament. And our women's team has won back-to-back conference championships. So it's a great product, and our student athletes are great.
All right, stop selling.
Sorry.
John Roos here on our show. You have not gotten to the point. I'm trying to stop you because we're running out of time. That's not why you're here, though. You're here for a totally different reason. And that is, the last time you were on the show, you were about to perform a song, and it got cut off. And we're not letting that happen this time because our audience demands. Would you like to hear John sing? I'm just saying to you.
Just want to say hi to Miss Piggy and Fozzie out there for supporting me on a big day. This is my first time that I've been live here on the Tim Mcloone radio show. Thank you. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. But someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection. Sing it with me, people. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. La, da, da, dee, da, da, dee. Thank you. Thank you very much.
John Roos, the Assistant Athletic Director for Sales and Development at Monmouth University. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Oh, boy.